Let's talk the governor's race here because we finally got our November set in stone with the two candidates.
The long-awaited results, which top two vote getters will be advancing for the governor's race. It's going to be Republican Steve Hilton, Democrat Javier Becerra. It's kind of what we expected, but I think the big question was, could it potentially be a Democrat on Democrat? So Tom Steyer and Javier Becerra. But as you said, the field has been set. It's going to be a kind of typical partisan matchup in November.
And when you look ahead to that, it seems like this is very clearly Javier Becerra's race to lose if those Democrats do coalesce behind him.
Yeah, I mean, never say never in an election, right? Anything really could happen in politics and elections, but even the Democratic to Republican registration advantage in terms of voters here in California, nearly a 2-to-1 advantage that Democrats have. So realistically speaking, is it difficult for a Republican to win statewide office? Yes, again, we did see it with Schwarzenegger. But that was a recall election, so it wasn't your typical kind of wide open primary gubernatorial election.
Specifically with the Democrats, we didn't see any big names really endorse any of the candidates, but now we're seeing Governor Gavin Newsom endorsing Javier Becerra. Was that something that was surprising for you? To stand behind a candidate?
That latter part, definitely, how long it took him. And continuously, the governor, he was asked over and over by myself, by other press members as well, and he would say, I'm the Jerry Brown of this election, referring to the fact that when Newsom himself was a candidate for governor, then Governor Jerry Brown declined to weigh in, just kind of keeping neutral. That's what Newsom ended up doing. But like you said, as soon as Javier Becerra was kind of projected to advance alongside Steve Hilton, you had Newsom weigh in, former Vice President Kamala Harris weigh in, Senator Alex Padilla weigh in, Lieutenant Governor Eleni Kounalakis weigh in. So all these big name endorsements that we were kind of anticipating and waiting for finally came down rather quickly.
And how do you see the campaigns playing out here from both the Becerra side and the Hilton side? Because obviously Hilton looks like a long shot here, but he can make this about the Trump administration or the cost of living issues that have gotten so many people animated here in California.
That's exactly what people are expecting. Political analyst Steve Swat actually had the perfect answer to that, so let's take a listen to him.
Hilton will be on the attack throughout most of the campaign, and he will attack the California Democrats for running the state into the ground. Becerra will turn everything around and make this election all about Trump.
So exactly like you said, Jay, right? I mean, the Democrats are going to make this about Trump, and it kind of makes it easy for them because Hilton, in both the primary and now ahead of the November general election, has President Trump's endorsement. And you're already seeing this social media back and forth play out because Steve Hilton retweeted President Trump's Truth Social endorsement of him, and he said, "Thank you, President Trump." Javier Becerra reposted that and said, this is all you need to know. So already you are seeing that really partisan Trump-focused mudslinging happening between the two candidates.
And another issue that you are following really quickly here, the telework. This affects state workers, to emphasize.
Correct. Just state workers. It's going to require most of them, probably all of them, to go back at least 4 days a week. There's a lot of back and forth on this, a lot of pushback, but main takeaways, July 1st is that looming deadline. It was already pushed back to this July 1st from last year because of how much opposition there was, but Newsom is remaining adamant. The big question, though, is when the next governor, comes into office next January, what happens to all of this?
Very contentious issue. Jenny Huth, thanks so much.